to do a recap of what I learned tonight. This was week number 4, session number 4 of my class, Becoming a Holy People. And so tonight we studied more about John Wesley, one of the fathers of our faith. And so we talked about the early church in the West and in the East. We talked about the language, the ecclesiastical center, what the socioeconomic state was, and the leadership involved in those areas. We talked about the theological method, and again, this is all between the West and the East. The theological method, the theological anthropology. We talked about the ideas and beliefs of sin, Christology, pneumatology, Trinity, and soteriology. We talked about some of the famous thinkers from the East and famous thinkers from the West. And we have, sorry, notification on my phone. But Wesley and his descendants were highly influenced by the Eastern form of Christian theology, which is that we can be remolded into the image of God, progressively restored to our original design, enabled to fulfill our purpose in God, and filled with love to fulfill the great commands. We talked about the Western medieval influences, like Bernard of Clairvaux, Thomas Aquinas. We talked about people that were involved in the post-Reformation Catholic mysticism and Reformed pietism. And then lesson 6 was Wesley's view on Christian perfection. And so we talked about that, and we talked about Wesley, how his thinking and his beliefs didn't really change through the years, but kind of got more complex. We talked about what happened to him leading up to the year 1738. And we talked about what he went through between 1738 and 1741. And then between 1741 and 1761. All these major areas in his life, influenced his thinking and his beliefs. And so then we have 11 different statements from John Wesley that were published in his book called A Plain Account of Christian Perfection. Number 1 is there is such a thing as perfection because it is again and again mentioned in Scripture. Number 2, it is not so early as justification is, for justified persons are to go on to perfection. That's from Hebrews 6:1. Number 3, it is not as late as death, for St. Paul speaks of living men that were perfect. That's Philippians 3:15. Number 4, Christian perfection is not absolute. Absolute perfection belongs not to man nor to angels, but to God alone. Number 5, it does not make a man infallible. No one is infallible while they remain in the body. Number 6, is it sinless? It is not worthwhile to contend that term. It is a salvation from sin, a freedom from sin. Number 7, it is perfect love, as referenced to 1 John 4:18. This is the essence of it. Its properties or its inseparable fruits are rejoicing evermore, praying without ceasing, and giving thanks in everything. That's from 1 Thessalonians 5:16. Number 8, it is improvable. It is so far from lying in an indivisible point, from being incapable of increase, that one perfected in love may grow in grace far swifter than they did before. Number 9, it is admissible. It's capable of being lost, of which we have numerous instances of that. Number 10, it is both preceded and followed by a gradual work. And number 11, the question is it instantaneous or not? And it says, it is often hard to perceive the instant when a person dies, but there's definitely an instant where life ceases. And if sin ever ceases, there must be a last moment of its existence. and a first moment of deliverance from it. So I learned a lot tonight about Wesley and why he believed what he believed and what was important to him. And Christian perfection and holiness were very, very important to him. And so I learned the people that he looked up to, the people that influenced his thinking, the people that you know, made him think differently about things. And so it was a really good lesson tonight, or a good 2 lessons tonight. We do 2 lessons a week. So, but it was great. I asked several questions, got really good answers, and it was amazing class. So, just want to give you a quick recap of it, and hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.